The Shy Merchant's Son. How 3 days changed everything. Have you ever felt like your fears were holding you back? Like no matter how hard you tried, you just couldn't be as confident as others. Today, I want to tell you a story about a young man named Thomas who felt exactly this way, and how just 3 days completely transformed his life. In a bustling trading town by the river, there lived a successful salt merchant named William. He had two sons. The younger Daniel was outgoing and charming, always helping his father in the shop. But the elder son, Thomas was different. From childhood, Thomas was painfully shy. While Daniel easily chatted with customers, Thomas would hide behind the barrels of salt, his hands trembling whenever someone spoke to him. The townspeople whispered behind his back, "What's wrong with the merchant's eldest? Why can't he even look people in the eye?" His father's frustration grew with each passing year. "Thomas," he would shout, "when will you stop being so timid? You're the eldest. You need to lead." But the harsher his father's words, the smaller Thomas felt. Then came the day that everything changed. William had to travel to the next town, leaving Thomas in charge of the shop. "Don't disappoint me," his father warned as he left. That afternoon, two well-dressed men arrived. "Your father sent us," they said smoothly. "We're to take all the salt to the city market." Thomas's throat went dry. Something felt wrong. But who was he to question these confident, important-looking men? Hours later, William returned to an empty shop. When he heard what happened, his face turned dark with rage. "You fool," he roared. "Those were thieves. You lost us everything." In his anger, he said the words that would haunt Thomas. "Get out of my house. You no son of mine." Thomas stumbled through the town, tears blurring his vision. The whispers followed him. "Look, it's the merchant's foolish son." As night fell, he found himself at the riverbank, staring into the dark water. "What's the point?" he thought. "I'm worthless. I'll always be a failure." He took a step forward when suddenly a strong hand pulled him back. It was a wandering priest. "Why save me?" Thomas sobbed. "My life has no value." The priest sat beside him. "Tell me," he said gently, "if you saw a baby bird fallen from its nest, would you leave it to die? Even the smallest life has purpose. Come with me." At the church, the elder priest gave Thomas 3 tasks. Day 1, go into town and ask 10 strangers, "What brings you joy?" Thomas's hand shook as he approached the first person. But to his surprise, the old flower seller smiled and told him about her grandchildren. Each conversation became slightly easier. Day 2, teach these village children why water is precious. Thomas's voice faltered at first, but seeing the children's eager faces, he found himself explaining how rain filled rivers that feed crops. They listened intently. No one had ever listened to Thomas before. Day 3, the hardest task. Return to your father. Thomas stood outside his home, his heart pounding. When his father opened the door, Thomas didn't look down as usual. He met his father's eyes. "Father," he said, voice steady, "I failed you, but I'm learning to be better. Please give me one more chance." For a long moment there was silence. Then William did something Thomas couldn't remember him ever doing. He pulled his son into his embrace. Years later, Thomas took over the family business, not as the shy boy he once was, but as a wise and respected merchant. People often asked how he changed. His answer was simple: I learned that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding something is more important than that fear. For me, it was 3 days of choosing to try. So I ask you, what's holding you back? And what small step can you take today to begin your own transformation? Remember this: every confident person you admire was once afraid. What makes them different isn't that they stopped feeling fear, it's that they didn't let fear stop them.